What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Brother 749 coming back at you with another video. I want to talk about Ketanji Brown Jackson, the judge that Biden nominated. She was just confirmed on Thursday by the Senate, confirming her to become the first black woman on the Supreme Court. There have been 3 Republican senators who had joined all 50 Democrats in voting for Jackson. She received some support from the Republican senators like Mitt Romney, Senator Lisa Murkowski, and Senator Susan Collins, while the other 47 Republican senators voted against her. And in this video, I just want to talk about why I feel confirming her to Supreme Court was needed, despite what other folks are saying. And I think it was necessary that she got confirmed. I don't think Biden was wrong for nominating her. We need that diversity. I knew she was going to get confirmed right away from the start, since it's more Democrats in the Senate. It's basically it's a 50-50 split. And I'm proud, but I'm not like far as me being overly excited, jumping for joy. I'm not that. I don't think her being confirmed to Supreme Court is going to change my normal everyday life in a significant way, since I still gotta get up to go to work. I still gotta go pay bills, run errands, and all that other stuff. But I'm still proud and glad that she won and got confirmed. And Judge Jackson is the first black female to sit on the Supreme Court. And I know to some people it shouldn't matter if she's black or white, but she's the first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court, and that's why it's a big deal. But I'm noticing that this sister has been receiving a lot of criticism from a lot of folks. Of course, the majority of the GOP wasn't thrilled, even when she was nominated, because you got Republican senators like Ted Cruz, who was talking about how putting a black woman on the Supreme Court was racial discrimination, since it shouldn't be about race. And other things, such as when that confirmation hearing was going on, they were saying that she's soft on child porn, sex offenders, and how she doesn't know what a woman is and stupid shit like that. And then there were some blacks that were saying that Miss Jackson was being used as a token Negro, and how it's all for symbolism. And folks are feeling by Biden only choosing a black woman to be in Supreme Court solely based off that reason alone, they're feeling that Miss Jackson should be offended for being nominated based off that reason. Since why did he had to specifically nominate a black woman, as if he's trying to make himself look good and is doing all this for a symbolic gesture that doesn't mean anything. It's just trying to win votes for re-election. But at the same time, it's a lose-lose situation, to where if Biden never nominated a black woman at all, then he'll also be labeled as racist. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. And Judge Jackson's nomination wasn't what it was perceived to be. They talk about Biden promising to nominate a black woman, but really this ain't no different than before. Because people forget that Ronald Reagan said that he was going to specifically put the first woman on the Supreme Court, and he did, which was Sandra Day O'Connor. And then years later, after Reagan's presidency, after he had already placed the first woman in, Bush Sr., his successor, had placed Clarence Thomas in, making him the second black man in Supreme Court, replacing Thurgood Marshall, who was the first black Supreme Court justice. And just over a year ago, Trump had made a short list of female judges to fill Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat, really deciding on Amy Coney Barrett. And Trump had already nominated 3 conservative judges, and Biden hadn't nominated one yet, which wasn't right. So really, no one should have a problem with Biden stating that he'll nominate the first black woman to Supreme Court, because we've had black men in Supreme Court, so we might as well have black women in Supreme Court, since we've had both white men and white women in Supreme Court. And the thing about Judge Jackson's nomination, it was also based off her qualifications, because she's literally the most qualified person on their court. And people forget how highly qualified she is. She was a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals, the U.S. District Judge for Columbia. She was a public defender, a Supreme Court clerk. She has legal experience. She graduated from Harvard Law. And Biden never said he'll just place just any black woman in there, because that's stupid. Because if that was the case, then Shamika or Brenda from the Hood could be nominated to Supreme Court. or any ratchet or hood rat or baby mama could be nominated to the Supreme Court. Or if it ain't those type of black women, then just any normal, regular, working class black woman who happens to not be qualified could be nominated to the Supreme Court if that was the case. But he wanted a black woman that's qualified since we've already had people from other groups who's qualified, so why not have a black woman that's qualified? And I expected backlash from the GOP, but there's even some black folks that don't like her, some of them, because they're like, what's she going to do for us? What's she going to do for us blacks? And see, that's folks who don't know politics. It don't really work like that. She can't do nothing when it comes to Supreme Court vote. I mean, she doesn't have the power to. That's not what she's supposed to do. Not even the president can do that. Even when it comes to executive powers. The Supreme Court, they take on those big cases brought before them, and they have to use their laws, so they can't just pick one side. It ain't like they're gonna do something specifically for blacks. I mean, she was a public defender, so she did some really brave, heroic, and difficult work for blacks for sure, as she did with many other races. And she's on a Supreme Court for all Americans, whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, LGBTQ, men and women. And she only did something for blacks as a judge, that'll sort of divide the country even further, which is contrary to why she was confirmed. And I don't think she ever promised that she was going to do anything specifically for black people only, because what was she supposed to be doing for black people? What did Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett do for white people? Why was that question brought up when we had a white Supreme Court justice being confirmed? So I mean, I don't really get this hatred blacks have of her when most of them ain't even heard of her before the confirmation hearings. It's all a front and selective outrage. And blacks are judging her, all of a sudden wondering about her loyalty to the black community. And I don't get it. I don't get what black folks in general want. We ain't getting reparations out of this, though it'll be nice if we did, but I don't expect it. And I don't expect Judge Jackson or anyone else to rescue the black community. I mean, I'm sure we all can still benefit from her somehow, but not in ways that we think, as far as getting reparations is concerned, because it would have been done by now. And she's only one judge who can't save the whole entire community. But with Judge Jackson making history, all blacks, especially young black women, can still be inspired and supportive. And I know there's some blacks who are no longer thrilled about the first black this or that in politics anymore because of their unrealistic expectations. Because, like, after Obama, it's like they're not as thrilled about the first black something anymore in politics like they used to. And they're feeling that Biden's pandering or have some type of motive and doing all this for symbolic victory, just an empty symbolic gesture that don't mean anything. And they're looking at Biden and wondering, why did you have to specifically choose a black woman if we're not going to get anything out of it? And I'm not expecting anybody, black or white, to save me or give me anything like tangibles or reparations, because if folks think Judge Jackson reaching to Supreme Court ain't important, then they don't know nothing about constitutional laws and how it affects us in all areas of our lives, from employment, criminal justice, businesses, and labor. And using Clarence Thomas as a comparison is just a lame excuse, because we knew that, when he was coming in, he wasn't going to do anything. And instead of depending on presidents and Supreme Court officials, we got to be involved in the community, the city and state level, because that's the key to seeing changes. Because people don't know how politics work. That's why nothing changes. We think who the president is and the decisions he makes is the end all be all for everything. But everything starts on the local and community level. And I don't think Judge Jackson is a sellout. And that's another reason why some blacks don't trust her or like her, because she's married to a white man. Her husband is white. And I don't really care. I don't have a problem with that. But it did kind of threw me for a loop at first when I found out, because I didn't know. And it did make me think a little bit, because first off, the name Ketanji Brown Jackson, I mean, that name, it doesn't get any blacker than that. And with the last name Jackson, which is from her husband, Patrick Jackson, you'd think it'd be a brother, since, well, to me at least, it sounds more like a black person's last name, like Jenkins. And by her husband being white, you think her name would be something like Ketanji Brown Fisher, or Ketanji Brown O'Donnell, or Ketanji Brown McDillon, or something like that. Because I don't know too many white people with the last name Jackson. I knew probably 2 white people in life with the last name Jackson. So it's rare to me. It's just my opinion. And I noticed how blacks from the Supreme Court justice all have white spouses, like Clarence Thomas, and I think Thurgood Marshall also had a white spouse. And a lot of these black female politicians have white husbands, like of course Judge Jackson and Kamala Harris. And I'm noticing the pattern. The pattern. It seems strategic and like it's interesting. And yet, we haven't made history confirming blacks in the Supreme Court with black spouses. That's another historical moment that we're waiting to see. We haven't seen that yet. And black women are praising Judge Jackson, knowing that she's married to a white man. And I don't like the double standards, because if Biden had nominated a brother who was married to a white woman, then there will be a different reaction. Because it's been said that black Supreme Court officials could be using their white spouses to climb the social ladder to get ahead, trying to get power. I don't know about that. It does seem that way, and it could be because of their environment or how they couldn't find too many other black people on their level. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping it's not done out of self-hatred. And some blacks are calling Judge Jackson a token Negro or a bed wench, and some worry that Jackson is going to be the female version of Clarence Thomas, as I was saying, but I don't think so, because first of all, Clarence Thomas is a Republican conservative, like many whites are, who may share the same views, and Jackson is a Democrat, like many blacks are, who may share similar views. And plus, Judge Jackson's way more qualified than Clarence Thomas. She's nowhere near, not even remotely close to Clarence Thomas. The only thing they got in common is that they both black in the Supreme Court, and they both got white spouses. But other than that, they're not the same. And Miss Jackson may have more in common with her husband than other black men. Not to say that there aren't any black men who are just as smart and intelligent and be on the same level as her, because they are. But it depends on the environment she was at. Like Barack Obama dated white women before he married Michelle Obama, because he grew up in an environment around white people. And maybe Ketanji connected and could relate with her white husband so well to where she couldn't find a brother that she liked more than him, because maybe there weren't a lot of brothers around Harvard studying law like her. And sometimes it's the chemistry too, because sometimes people don't get to choose who they're attracted to. It's just a vibe. It just happens naturally. And plus, who knows if she might have been with brothers before the white dude. She met her husband at Harvard, and I noticed that a lot of blacks with white spouses and significant others, those usually ain't the first people that they've been with, because most people typically date within their race first before stepping out. And it wasn't their first and only choice, because Thurgood Marshall married a black woman before he married a non-black woman, I think. And Clarence Thomas married a black woman before he married a white woman. Because, see, their first spouses and significant others are usually black. And we've had great civil rights leaders who done the same. Like Frederick Douglass was initially married to a black woman who passed away, and he married his white secretary. And I know it'll be nice to see a black with a black spouse on the Supreme Court. And I can understand the frustration and worry some blacks have about Jackson having a white husband, but I don't think that's a sign that she's going to coon or sell out. Because, for example, black actors like Sidney Poitier was first married to a black woman. They had 4 children together. Then he dated Diane Carroll for a while, but eventually he married a white woman. But that still never took away the fact that he was still advocating for the fight of the justice and the equality and the education of black people and all people in general. And sometimes when a black person is married to another person of the same race, that's not always guaranteed that they're down for the black community. Because I remember I had a black woman on the job who tried to throw me under the bus, try to get me fired, who had a black husband. And plus you got brothers out here on the street with the black on black violence going on, killing, shooting, robbing other blacks who's been with black women. So I don't think that your spouse's or significant other's race represents you for being a coon or sellout, at least not all the time. And there was a confirmation hearing on Judge Jackson a couple of weeks ago where she appeared in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, where some of the Republican senators were sort of being rude to her. But I liked how that Democratic Senator Cory Booker gave her that encouraging speech, which was needed after all that she had to put up with in there. Because I felt that a lot of those Republican senators wasn't even trying to hide their racism anymore. Um, those Republican senators knew that she knows what a woman is. They know that she's not soft on crime. They had nothing to attack. They couldn't attack her record as a judge, like her education, her background, her experiences, her abilities. Like there was nothing to attack, and I felt that they were just trying to make her look like a fool in front of everybody. And the backlash was expected. Like when Senator Blackburn asked, "What is a woman?" and Judge Jackson responded by saying, "I don't know. I'm not a biologist." And though there was nothing wrong with what she said, but what she could have said was, "That's a sensitive topic. I can't answer that," because by her saying that she's not a biologist, I was worried that that might have hurt her chances. And Miss Jackson ain't stupid. I'm sure she knows what a woman is. That was just a trick question. That's like me asking a straight dude, "Does your parents know you gay?" Just say yes or no. There's no answer for that. And it's not an easy question to answer initially unless you just simply say a woman is a human being with boobs and a vagina, which is why Senator Blackburn asked Judge Jackson what a woman was, because she was trying to get Judge Jackson, who's being endorsed by Democrats, to say something offensive, and that was a trick question going for the transgender gay issue and how wrong and sinful it is. Trying to put her on the hot seat, putting her on the spot like it was a game show. And Miss Jackson's take on child pornography, folks felt that could have hurt her chances too, thinking she's soft on child porn predators and sex offenders. But her response on child porn crime wasn't what the GOP made it out to be. That moment where she's speaking to Dick Dermott about the guidelines, I think what she was trying to say was that she gives out the most harshest sentence possible to those who actually produce that type of stuff, while going lighter on those who just find it and download it online, especially while not paying for it. But they want to say that she's soft on child porn crime, but who released Jeff Epstein all those years then? And it's crazy how the Republican Senator Josh Hawley, who was allowed to criticize Judge Jackson on her record on child porn, saying how he felt she shouldn't be placed on the bench for that, when it was him who actually voted to acquit Donald Trump, a president who was a criminal, and he kept his mouth shut about the Mike Gates pedophile charges. So, like I said, these Republican senators didn't have nothing else to attack on Jackson, which is why Lindsey Graham asked her about her religion, Ted Cruz asking about anti-racism, racist babies, and critical race theory. And I'm like, why is it so bad and wrong to teach children about race here in America? You don't think children notice racism? They do in red states, of course, because their politicians use it as a weapon all the time. They want to make it look like that Judge Jackson hates white people, which is stupid when she has a white husband. And they say she's pro-terrorism, pro-criminal, hates the Constitution, and just that brutality in the way she was treated by the Senate Republicans in that confirmation hearing had nothing to do with her qualifications. It was all about her being black, being a woman, and being nominated by a Democrat. I mean, yeah, if Judge Jackson was white, she'd still be treated unfairly because she's being endorsed by Democrats and was picked by Biden. But just the fact that she is black, that's like adding salt to the wound to the GOP, which is why they were asking her the type of questions they were asking. And the Democrats was doing the same thing too, with Brett Kavanaugh, Trump's nominee, during his confirmation hearing. So there's a lot of political hypocrisy going on. They dragging some woman in who claimed that Kavanaugh raped her at a party years ago. But regardless if it was true or not, that claim was still acceptable to us Democrats because Kavanaugh was a Trump nominee. And now with a Biden nominee, their defense is asking Judge Jackson tough, tricky questions. And since they're opposing parties, that's just politics. They're supposed to be that way. But by her being confirmed, that was definitely needed. She beat the odds that were against her, and I'm glad. And with Miss Jackson being the first black female nominee, that's a big deal. Just the fact, that we need that diversity of smart, intelligent people of all races, all nationalities, and all backgrounds, and that's really gonna make a difference. Just like there's whites who's qualified, there's also blacks who's just as qualified. We're just trying to get to that point to where we all would be considered equals, and though we may never get there, but at least it's an effort. But congratulations to Judge Jackson. It's good that she got confirmed. I think everyone, well, most, knows that this was well deserved, and knows how blatantly dishonest and irrational those Republican senators that voted against her are. And I'm glad those 3 Republican senators voted for Jackson, and it would have been a shame if they didn't vote to confirm him. And this is a historical moment, and I'm glad that she got confirmed. But anywho, this is Big Brother 749 signing out. I'm out. Peace.